My punks and my skins, tomorrow is the 4th of July, a holiday as it were, which I know most of you are dreading. And this hardly comes as any surprise because, as of late, you have been given reason upon reason, virtually every hour upon the hour, to be that much more angry, that much more outraged, that much more up in arms with everything going on in this country. To that end, I dare say it will come as a tremendous shock when I tell you that it is my intention today to present to you the ability, the clear-cut ability for you to be able honestly to say, for instance, I love America. I celebrate America. I'm proud to be an American. Yes, as scornful, as derisive, as much as you may be scoffing, you have heard me correctly. Let me pose a question to you. What exactly is it that you are angry at, punks and skins? What is the focal point of your wrath? Is it, in fact, the mountains and the forests? The beautiful or spacious skies, the amber waves of grain from sea to shining sea? Are you angry at the actual geographical country itself? I rather doubt this, of course. Your anger, I dare say, is at the establishment. It is political. It is aimed at the executive, the legislative, and in particular over the past week or so at the judicial level. Your anger is centered around the centralized government, the United States, which happen to be geographically of America. Here, let me simplify it thusly. Do you remember, those of you who didn't drop out, math class? Now, I believe it was something along the lines of an algebraic configuration, such as this. 2 plus 2 minus 1 equals. Simplistic. But the mathematical question which is posed is, of course, which action do you commence first? The addition or the subtraction? And I'm sure those of you who studied this will remember that there was the formulaic imperative of bracketing a segment first, indicating that you added first, came up with the sum, and subtracted from that sum. Anything within the brackets, you isolated. Here we have another algebraic equation wherein U represents United, S represents States, and A represents America. Now, did you know that mathematically, but moreover philosophically, you can likewise isolate variables in this equation? To wit, so I put it to you again, punks and skins. In lieu of this formula, what is it that you are angry at, boys and girls? The rocks and the trees? Or could it be the establishment itself? The disunited States, which just happen to be in America. For let's face it, by virtue of that intrepid Italian explorer, Amerigo Vespucci, from the tip of South America all the way up past Canada to the tip of Alaska, from these 2 points and all points in between, everybody amounts to Americans, whether you like it or not. That's simply the geographical reality. Now, we are dealing in oversimplifications today. It is punks and skins after all. But the facts remain. Now, I realize, in your minds, the U.S. and the A are so irreversibly intermingled and intermangled. And to look at one, to look at both, to look at this entire equation is to see nothing but jingoism, nationalism, star-spangled blue bleeding patriotism of the worst possible kind. And I don't blame you for seeing that, because I see the same thing. But as I say, the facts speak for themselves. I would hate to foster or in any way endorse the idea of, you conceived me, you gave birth to me, now it's up to you to raise me, it's up to you to take care of me, I'm here, what are you going to do about me? Nevertheless, if you feel that your being an American is an accident of birth, if it was something which was foisted upon you, something about which you had no choice at all, foisted upon you, impressed upon you, oppressed upon you, being American is an accident of birth, you are, nonetheless, an American. And it is up to you to make the best, to make the most of this unwanted disposition. But more to the point, more than just making the best of it, making the most of it, you owe it to yourself and to those whom you call your own to go that much further, to strive that much farther toward, basically, an American ideal. You see, it's not the United Statesian dream, it's the American dream. And that dream is whatever you see fit to make it. The empowerment is yours. And if you feel disenfranchised and disempowered, then it is up to you and it belongs to you to take that power and implement it as you see fit. Rhetoric, sentiments, empty words, talk, talk, talk. You've heard it all before, and yet you remain determined to renounce it and to denounce it. Well, this comes as no surprise to me at all, for I know that there are millions of Americans who are irreconcilably disenchanted with the United States of America, either because they feel as though it has broken their hearts, stabbed them in the back, and let them down at every turn, or because they happen to be those who are disenchanted with the Union because, as it turns out, they prefer the Confederacy. For those of you in the former group, you have a recourse course of action. It's invested right here in this formula. All you have to do is take this particular variable and adjust it ever so slightly. Even now the holdouts insist. We hate the USA, we hate America, and we hate every single word which you are saying unto us. You get to do that. You are free to think this, to believe this, to feel this. It is, after all, both your prerogative and your privilege as Americans.